Hey everyone, coming up this week ahead, I've been away for a bit, so let's catch up on what you may have missed. Plus, looking this week ahead, trash and mosquitoes are two of our top topics. And a quick roundup of notable traffic disruptions in the force. Let's talk about it this week ahead. Hey y'all, it's been a minute since I last slid right into your timeline, about 2 weeks or so. I took a short hiatus due to time I spent helping Mayor Sitma and the rest of the Flood Anniversary Committee with the Resilient Together event on June 26th. One project that did take some time was something I edited to help remind us of how resilient we are and how far we've actually come after battling the raging river waters 10 years ago. It's something I really take a lot of pride in. So if you want to watch that, it's about 15 minutes long. You can go to mouseriveranniversary.com/video to take a peek at what sort of kept me away from you for so long. After that, I had sort of a short week with a vacation, but fear not, I am in fact back this week ahead. So before we look forward, let's catch up on some of the happenings that you may have missed thanks to my abrupt and unannounced disappearance. Well, first things first, we recognize 10 years of recovery and resilience after the 2011 flood. As I mentioned, on the anniversary of the crest of the 2011 flood, the mayor and other area leaders held a whole shindig to sort of recognize the significance of that day. It's the day's place in history of Minot and the role it had in shaping our community that we know now. It was a bit of an emotional affair.
It's nice to be back here again. Minot in the valley as a whole has come a long way since the flood of 2011. The devastation was immense. Excuse me. Almost overwhelming. But we never gave up.
You know, when I look back to that day, that's that statement by former Mayor Kurt Zimbelman will be what I kind of remember most about what 2011 was about and what since then has been about for our community basin wide. Aside from that, for the most part, the day was about moving forward and building on the resilience that we've showed and we've gained after that event 10 years ago. In fact, we celebrated a ribbon cutting for the first two official phases of flood protection in Minot. That was phases 2 and 3. Meanwhile, the mayor announced an effort to erect a monument signifying the basin's strength to overcome and recover. I urge you, if you missed that event, if you missed the live portion of that on social media, that's still there. You can go to this page, go to our previous videos, and you can see that whole about hour and a half discussion of all of our efforts as a community in the last 10 years and how it's moving us forward and shaping our community today. It was an important piece, I think, for a lot of people, not everybody, but for a lot of people that we did that just a couple weeks ago. Okay, well, this past week marked a milestone for, something many residents have been championing for years. The city council voted to approve the specs and bid for a recycling transfer facility at the landfill for recycling. This is important because once a transfer facility is actually built, the reality of the curbside recycling program we've been talking about potentially for years is just so much closer. Something we know through a scientific survey we did in 2019, 2020, is a desire for many in the community. About 60%, over 60% of our community members said they are in favor of a curbside collection program. Of course, this is just one step to getting that to reality, but it's an important step to get that transfer facility that will actually take the recyclables that we collect in whatever way and be able to transfer it into the secondary market across the country. Okay, now something else that the city council managed to do just this just this past week, in fact, was pass something known as a facade improvement program. Not long after council approved a program that allows downtown businesses to expand into the public right of way with a pretty cool idea, Parklet and Streeteries program, council has taken yet another step to invest in the vibrancy of downtown Minot. This time, the economic development program of facade improvement passed by council will allow businesses in the heart of the city to apply for a forgivable loan to restore the curb appeal of their properties back to sort of their original historic intent. Speaking in front of council, Economic Development Administrator Jonathan Rosenthal explained why this is an impactful movement for commerce and historic preservation for Minot's central business district.
Miles of territory. As far as downtown, it's a special animal. It's one that was built without parking. It was built in the days before some of the current building codes were in place that would have meant that the buildings out in some of those areas were just built differently. And some of them have two roads. They have a frontage road that's maintained, plus the road out in front of that. So there are some investments that go on with other parts of the city that aren't the same as what they get downtown.
Thank you.
Okay, so you can get more on the program, the facade improvement program, because there are a lot of nuances to something like that. Naturally, of course, you can go to minotnd.org/facade to get more on that, and also to learn how to apply for that. Okay, for real now, let's get to the point of why we're all here this week ahead. We have two notable events coming up this week ahead. First, well, it's actually Free Dump Week. You know, every July, you can expect the chance to bring out all your trash to landfill free of charge. Well, that is this week ahead. July 12th to the 17th, you can bring unwanted items and trash to the City of Minot landfill. Residents, of course, must provide a current water bill as proof that they are a city sanitation customer. But it's summer, so your opportunities are a little bit more abound because the landfill is open 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday. That's 6 days a week, people. This is our summer months, and residents can also drop off some of that household hazardous waste that they've collected, maybe old fertilizers you want to get rid of, or paint cans, whatever. You can do that at the landfill during the summer as well. Okay, also this week ahead, it is our aerial mosquito spraying program. That's what's happening. The city of Minot, that's us. We're working with our friends up north, the Minot Air Force Base, and the Ohio Air National Guard on aerial spraying for mosquito control in our entire Minot area. You can expect that coming up this week in the evening, sometime between July 13th to the 16th. It's all weather permitting. So crews will choose the day and time of the spraying depending on the weather and wind conditions. And that's when they'll spray. They'll spray when mosquitoes are typically most active. You see them in the evening a lot of times. You're going to want to watch our social media pages for updates on the timing and the days on when that will happen. Of course, follow us at City of Minot on this page. I'm sort of preaching to the choir now. One thing that we do get asked a lot about this time of year is the chemical that is being used. It's important to note that this is a Environmental Protection Agency registered pesticide, so an EPA approved chemical that we are using. The active ingredient in the spray is, pronunciation was is a little bit harder on this one. Nalid, I think, is how you pronounce that. It does pose a very almost a minimal risk to the general population, pets or wildlife, when it's applied. So it's safe for us, essentially. But it is toxic to insects, which includes honeybees. So beekeepers in our surrounding area will be notified of the scheduled spraying. something to take note. But for the rest of us, we should be just fine. You can find more information on this chemical if you want to by going to the EPA's website, epa.gov/mosquito control. You can find that information there. And for our aircraft nerds out there, the application that will be made this week ahead will be using a C-130 cargo aircraft that'll be flying right over our heads. Okay, coming up this week ahead, let's talk about the disruption in the force of our roads. Burdick Expressway will have some spotty lane closures as you sort of navigate east on Burdick. This work will be like water valve replacements that you've been seeing, and some prep work for the mill and overlay project that you can expect to start after the North Dakota State Fair. There will be some zigzagging as you go east because some lanes will be south lanes will be closed. Sometimes it'll be north lanes closed. Just prepare for some of those disruptions. So look for roads near Jim Hill Middle School on 6th and 11th to be a little bit disrupted. In fact, those will be closed due to some underground work over there. You can also expect disruptions on South Broadway, lane closures south of the interchange. They'll switch traffic from, I think it's the outside lanes. They'll move traffic to the inside lanes as they continue some patching work over there. Now, for the rest of the lane and road closures, you'll want to use our very handy map on our website, minetnd.org/road closures. That'll be your traffic control map. If you want to see any of the projects that we have planned for the rest of this year, there's a lot. We have chip seal coming up very shortly that will disrupt mostly residential neighborhoods. You can see all that as well, minetnd.org/projects. Okay. So that's going to do it for me today, this week ahead. Thanks again for joining me. I missed you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. You can go ahead and find that at minetnd.org/the-latest. There it is. If you want to make sure you don't miss any important alerts like that, the newsletter is a good spot. Or anytime we have major sort of breaking news alerts, you'll want to go ahead and hit minetnd.org/alerts to subscribe to anything like that. You get text and email messages from us that way. If you're looking to maybe join us for a stint on the Planning Commission, we do have a vacancy, minetnd.org/volunteer. There's an application there for that and any of our other commissions that we may be having openings on. That's how you can apply for that. That's going to do it for me. Thank you very much. Don't forget to follow us on all your favorite social media pages to stay in the loop for everything happening across your city of Minot. Thank you again for joining me, and I hope you have a great this week ahead.